Hey guys, it's Dawn here, and today I want to talk about sharpening sewing machine needles. And this, you can use this data probably to sharpen hand needles, pins, fishing hooks, just about anything. It's just, I mean, it's the same concept as sharpening. So, if you want to know about sharpening knives, I already made a video all about sharpening all different kinds of knives. And so basically, the concept to sharpening is very simple. Maintain an angle, any angle you choose. Just maintain that angle, and on all sides, make sure there's no burrs on any side, and then you have a sharp edge. A sharp edge is basically just it coming to a point. Now on the needle, it's a little bit more challenging because on a blade you have one or two sides, all right, but on a needle it's 360 degrees, so you have to maintain that all the way around. I think that's probably the most challenging part of it, but this is really simple. And then here we come to the next point. Why would you sharpen these? I know that will be the first question everyone says, because everyone accepts that you can buy these in a pack of 100. This was I bought it from Amazon. I think it was, oh my gosh, I can't even remember, $38. Okay, so around $38 for a pack of 100. So 38 cents a piece. And, you know, people usually changing them out once every big project or once a week or something like that. You know, you add that up, that does add up to quite a bit. I mean, I'm not talking huge chunks of money here, but also the waste. I mean, a lot of people. Okay, well, first off, let's back off and say nobody at all will ever argue that you must use a sharp needle. And so whenever there's an issue with sewing, the very first thing people will say is change your needle. That is the most common problem to have sewing issues, is that you forget that your needle gets dull, and then it makes a drag or it catches, and then it messes up your stitches. Okay, so nobody's going to argue that you need sharp needles. What they will argue though is these are so disposable. You buy them in packs of 100. It's not that much, $38, and you know each needle lasts you, so it's 38 cents a week. Why would I even bother with this, right? With sharpening them? Well, I would say one, you know, save on the landfill, save on the waste. You know, if you just, and it's not really sharpening, it's more honing them. Sharpening is when you take off steel. Honing is just removing any burrs. You're going to get burrs almost right away, and so you need to change it out often if you're just, if you know, if you always want to have the utmost sharpness. But if you just hone it just real quick, then it's not that big a deal. You can get like at least 5-6 times the life out of it. So I mean, so let's say you're changing them out every week. What about if you changed them out every 5 weeks, right? And then the thing is, this one is a very common, very generic, it's a good needle for general use. It's a general use needle, but it is not the sharpest. So if you want a really sharp needle, then you got to look into like they have one that's super sharp, the Microtex. And once you go to a super sharp needle, or they just call it sharp, because technically these aren't even sharp, but you go to a Microtech or something, or Microtex, sharp needle, then you won't go back, because then you realize, oh my gosh, it's really nice to sew with a super sharp or sharp needle. But those are easily double the price. But if you do it on your own, you can have sharp needles all on your own, and you save that money as well. So how would you sharpen? There are many different ways, and many different tools that you can use. But to keep it simple, all you really need is something like this. Just a fine a fine sharpening stone, and if you want to, you can get one that has a ridge in it like this. And let me see what's the best way to show you. I think, okay, so this is one that had been dull before. Let me zoom in a bit. So a very, very simple thing you can do, especially if you just have a flat stone, is you just want to lay the needle down and follow the angle, the natural angle of the needle. So there it is. That means that the whole entire length from tip over the whole working end is laying on the stone at that right angle. So this is obviously the wrong angle. This is obviously the wrong angle. So you just want to lay this down until you can feel it. You see this comes up. Okay, that's not right. That's not right. That's too much. So you can feel it right there. That's about right. And then there's many different techniques, and I'm not even worried about it. You just want to be kind of consistent. You can drag it down if you want, and then turn as you go, and you just want to spin it. Okay, and just make sure that, okay, don't critique my style right now. I'm doing this, I'm holding my phone between my knees, and I'm reaching around and I'm trying to do this. But the point is to just kind of spin it so that you kind of get around. The point is you don't want to just do this on one point, because then obviously this is going to get shaved down more than the other one. Now when you're honing, you're just going to have to do this like just a few strokes, and then you can check it and you're done. So that's how simple it is, okay? Just every time you just do a few strokes and then you're done. Now, if you want to take advantage of a little channel, then that's nice, because you can just set it in here and you can do the strokes. Now, some people say only draw backwards. Some people say you only draw forwards. You can draw it back and forth. It really doesn't matter. The point is you want to keep it consistent, and you don't want to fold over the tip, okay? So folding over the tip would be like if I'm pushing down like this, then I'm going to fold that tip over. I don't want to fold over the tip. I want to make sure that that tip stays really nice and sharp. So then I'm going to go behind my magnifying glass here. And look at that tip. And you don't have to do this. You can feel it. Not sure if this is going to work. Try this. There we go. So look at that tip. Now I'm going to, this is the one that I sharpened. Now let's look at the one that is brand new out of the box. And so the one that's brand new out of the box is going to be the one on the bottom. And what you will find is that the one that is brand new out of the box will actually, will actually not be as sharp as the one that I just sharpened. Hopefully you can see this. So the one on the bottom has a bit of a rounded tip compared to the one on top that I sharpened. You can see and tell better in person, just trust me. Because the anyways, if you can't see that it is sharper, at least you can see that it is at least as good as the brand new one. So that's it. That's as simple as it gets. All you have to do is run it a few times over a very fine, and once again, this isn't technically sharpening it if you're not removing and if you're not creating a new edge, you're not removing metal, you're just honing it. You're just taking off the burrs that have developed from the use. Now, back in the day, these guys were $1 a piece, and so back then, people did sharpen their needles. It was a very common thing. In fact, some of the sewing machines even had a little sharpening stone at the bottom of the desk or something, so that people could very quickly, easily sharpen the needle and then put it back on and go right back to using them, because they wouldn't have a box of 100 needles. They would have like maybe 2 needles that they would use all the time for years and years. So that was a thing back then, and they had different devices to help you sharpen. One such device is like a phonograph needle sharpener, and I do want to get one of those because it's pretty cool, because it's a little device that is all contained, self-contained unit that will actually let you sharpen those type needles, but you can sharpen sewing machine needles on those as well. I also found that this is for leather, and this thing has a chuck that allows it to grip a needle, and so it's way too big though. It's way too big and clunky. So because this is meant for strength to punch through leather. So, but it's the closest thing I had to kind of show you an example. There's things that have a chuck, and then it has a thin. It's more like a thin handle like this. They also have things called hand drills that will grip a drill bit. It's a hand drill. So it's kind of like this. It has a chuck that'll grip a drill bit and stuff. And I want to see if I can find something like that. And if I can find something with a spinner as well, then I can do that. Now the phonograph needle sharpener, it has that setup. It has a chuck and then a thingy and then another spinny thingy that makes it spin. And then what you do is you turn this handle and it constantly spins it while going around, and the sharpening stone is actually kind of like, I believe it's like a sandpapery thing, and then it goes around, and as it goes around on that sandpapery thing, it maintains the perfect angle, and it's constantly spinning as it goes. And all you have to do is insert the needle into their chuck, set it into place, and then turn the little handle to make it go around. So that is really, really cool, and that's why I kind of want one of those. But it's an antique-y thing, so I have to try to get lucky to get one of those. But in the meantime, I mean, I understand their design and how it works, so I would love to be able to make something like that. Although this isn't hard, especially for me to do. So, I mean, literally, just running it across like that while spinning and stuff is not that hard. The hardest part, though, and I will admit, is that these have a flat side. You see, that's a flat side, that's a round side. So when you are spinning it, there is a little bit of a catch. It doesn't spin quite smoothly. If you were able to hold it here, now this you can spin smoothly because it's a completely circular shaft. But this one has that flat spot that catches, which is why having some kind of chuck that'll hold the needle while you are able to spin it easily, maintain the right angle, that might be a little bit easier. But that's if you want to get all fancy and stuff. So is there a reason to sharpen the needles? Yeah. You can get so much more life out of it. You can save money. You can save on your waste. It is very, very easy to do. These things aren't expensive, and these will last you your lifetime. You're just careful with it and stuff, and you can sharpen all of your needles just very, very easily, like this, spinning it as you go. And I'm not doing it completely right here, obviously, because one hand and all, and you can feel it, and you can feel when it catches, and you can check it, and you can see that it is perfectly sharp and perfectly good and usable again. No need to have to trash it. So there you go. Hope that helps, and let me know if there are any questions, and thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.